how clear or how deep is their non-disclosure agreement. So for you on your end, if you're creating content for them, making sure that you don't disclose any of their information as a business. If you are checking their finances or checking their email, hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, my goals at this video is to walk you through what are some things you have to keep in mind if you're a virtual assistant with a new client and what to check on the contract. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and run my own virtual assistant outsourcing company here in the Philippines. And I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, if you've so far followed the different tips or the different videos that I've done on this channel, hopefully at this point you have a new client. And I know that can be really scary of like, okay, I did all of this work to get hired. What would this look like? Especially if this is your first time doing it. And even if this is your 10th client, which is congratulations, by the way, there's probably a few things that you need to keep in mind as you get onboarded and as you get sent that first employment contract. Now, if you don't have a contract with your employer at all or they don't provide one, it is going to be up to you to write up this contract. There's a lot of different templates that you can grab online. I am not a legal professional, so I can't really give you a lot of advice on this, but this is something that you want to keep in mind if you are reviewing the contract from your employer or as you draft up one based on a template that you found online. The first thing that you need to keep in mind or be clear about is having the list of tasks or the scope of the tasks that you're going to be doing. The reason why you want to make sure that this is clear is so it's clear between you and your employer what are the different things that they can expect from you, the different types of output or tasks they're expecting that you get done, what are the things that they are wanting to see from you based on your skill set, on what you've showed so far, and this could even include future tasks that they are hoping that you will start getting on in the future. So that's why it's really important that you do have this clear list of what are the different things that your employers can expect from you. So then it has this clear path of moving forward that, okay, these are the services that I am providing. Do you need anything else more, or is there anything that I am missing based on what we've discussed? So again, it's giving that clarity of where you can sit, where you can be. So then it's clear again for you and your employer what you guys are doing, what's the exchange looking like. Next is, of course, you want to check and be clear about your benefits. What are the different things that you're going to be getting as their virtual assistant? Are you going to get some allowances, some health benefits? Even if you guys are working overseas and you have a different system, are they going to cover government contributions that you have to pay for, or is that something that you have to budget in? So having the clarity of what are the different things that you can benefit as their employee is going to be important, because then, of course, this is something that you can expect from them, of course, in exchange for your services. Next few things that you need to check is how clear or how deep is their non-disclosure agreement. So for you on your end, if you're creating content for them, making sure that you don't disclose any of their information as a business. If you are checking their finances or checking their emails, making sure that you don't do the same. So you want to see what would be different ways that you might violate them accidentally. So you want to make sure that you read through it. Another kind of agreement that you want to make sure that you read through is what I call a non-compete clause, so non-competition clause. So for example, let's say you've worked with them for a year. How long do you need to kind of pause doing the same kind of services to the same kind of clients before you get another job? The non-compete agreement is basically making sure and protecting for the client's end that everything that they have taught you so far, you're not just going to go and use it with another client, or that you're not going to get another job in the same industry or the same kind of client, because then that will compete with them directly. Again, you want to check for those two to make sure that your everything is above water. You're making sure that you're not going to violate any of them, because some of these agreements are going to be really particular. Some of them are going to be very general. So you want to check on those. Next is, of course, you want to check for payment terms. Like, how often are you going to get paid? What are the ways you can get paid? What would happen if they were late for a payment? Or is there any minimum work that you have to do for them to consider paying you? So for example, for us at 2XU, of course, one of the things that we always have to look at and consider is, are they really working full time? Are they doing 30, 40 hours a week? And is that being fulfilled? Because then that's a way for them to get their full pay. You really want to make sure that you check that clause of like, okay, what are different things that need to get done before I get paid? Because of course that's going to be super important important for you. And depending on your own payment terms, you might ask for a down payment ahead, and then the rest of the pay afterwards. There might be different things that you guys have agreed on. Make sure that it's actually in print and written on before you actually sign that contract. Next is you want to make sure that you check for termination terms. What are the different terms for each party to terminate? So what I mean by each party is you are one party as a virtual assistant and your client is another party. So when it comes to termination, if either of you are unhappy and you don't want to move forward, what does that look like? Do you need to render a certain amount of days before you can actually resign or leave? Do they need to give you enough time basically to let you know if you're going to get let go, and are you going to get some compensation for that? So making sure that that is clear, so again, just know the rules and you can play by them, is going to be important as you move forward. Next is once you have the contract, once you're about to move forward, take the time to actually assess the position. Is this something that you actually want? Is this something that moves you forward towards your goal? You don't want to sign up working with someone who you're just going to probably leave them in 2 to 3 years, because you want to build that long-term relationship. And of course, the longer that you're with a client, the stronger it is that you are able to build on your own skills and again work towards those goals. So really assess, now that you've gotten the details, now you've gotten the nitty-gritty, is this still something that you really want? Next is make sure that you're communicating back and forth with the hiring manager or the owner or your direct client, because then you are going to be able to see and catch what are different ways that they communicate. Are they someone who is usually abrupt? Do they reply right away? Because this will set how they will treat you once you're actually hired. One of the things I always keep in mind when I'm hiring virtual assistants for our company is that how they treat us as a client during the whole hiring process is probably how they'll treat us once they're actually hired. So it's the same thing when it comes to your employer. How they communicate with you, how fast, how clear are they, is going to be a reflection of how they would be once you guys actually start working together. So make sure that you're communicating, you're asking the right questions for them about the contract, about how the day would look like, how working with them would look like. So again, you can have that clarity before you even start moving forward and working with them. And while you're doing those communication, make sure that you are clear with your boundaries. What are the times that you are agreeing to work? And of course, a compromise in between. If you are someone who is a early riser and your client is in the US time and they want to meet in the afternoon, then you can compromise in that way. However, if it's a little bit harder for you guys to have a time that you can sync, having a way that you can communicate somehow, even though it's not during a call, is going to help create that base of, okay, what will this look like once we're actually working together. Next thing that you have to make sure that you set as boundary, or just letting them know, is let them know what tools you're using. It might be that they will need you to use a certain software that will need a certain amount of specs or a certain kind of laptop. Make sure that you're clear with them what kind of internet connection you have, how fast it is, any backups that you have, because again, this is setting now the baseline of what it's like as you guys start working together. And one other thing that you need to make sure that you ask is, how do they see helping you grow? Are they going to provide training? Are they going to provide some coaching with you? Are they going to keep you in this position for the next couple of years, or do they see that the role evolving in some way? Having this clarity helps, because then you are able to ask for what you need and be able to see how you're going to keep evolving in this role that you are going to start working in. Next is you want to make sure that you set the goal for 30, 60, and 90 days as you get started. So the reason why you want to make sure you have this is you want to have different milestones that you are aiming for as you work with your client. So let's say that they said that one of the things that they are really struggling with is their email. So you'll say that within the first 30 days, you want to make sure that they have a good email management system that's going to be easy for them to find the things that they are looking for, easy for them to delete, easy for them to archive or unsubscribe to things that they don't want to see. So that's your first goal. Okay, then what's your next goal? Next after that. This gives you a good way, a good structure of how you want to see the first 90 days of you working with them. And it's easy also for them to be able to get results right away and see why they want to keep working with you and why they want to keep you as a virtual assistant. Next is you want to make sure that you create your work routine. So your work routine could be, when you start your day, how do you want to start it? How do you want to create your to-do list? How do you want to look at all of your projects that you have to work on? How do you make sure that the client is up to date, that, hey, I've started working, these are things that I'm doing today, and then ending your day of like, hey, these are things I was able to do, and closing out everything else, and making sure that you have, again, that boundary also of dividing work and being at home, because it's really tempting to just keep working. So having that boundary within yourself, creating that routine of how you want your day to look like and sticking to it and tweaking as you go is going to be important for you to be able to sustain yourself for the long run as a virtual assistant. Next is you want to make sure that as you get started is you keep growing yourself. Watch more YouTube videos on how to be a better virtual assistant, even though you already are one. Go through courses, go through workshops, webinars, classes, where you can just keep growing yourself in some way. And whenever you're stuck, know that Google is your best friend, and know that you have all the resources that you need to keep moving forward, that there's always going to be a way for you to solve a problem that might be facing, and you have probably a good support group where you can also ask questions as you need to. And finally, my biggest tip for you as you get started as a virtual assistant is to create value. What I mean by this is make sure that you are giving some value in some way to your client. Now, what I mean by value is you are actually not just doing just the basic stuff. You're also making sure that you give some extra into the work. So this goes to be proactive. If you see something that needs to get done, you just make sure that it gets done. You take initiative, you document the different things that you're doing, so then you're not a bottleneck and you are making sure that things are actually written down. You get to know your clients, get to know the people that they're working with, and try to give them the extra mile as much as you can. It's helping them improve maybe their systems, or even help them create their systems, so then it makes the work easier for you. When it comes to being a virtual assistant, you're there because they have a pain point. You're there because they have a problem that they need to be solved so they can grow their business. So by creating value, by building that value also with them, it's going to be helpful to make you indispensable, make you someone that they want to help them in their business for the long run. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what are different ways that you think you can give value as a virtual assistant. Now, if you guys still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to run a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.